I'm Grady.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Charisse.
And welcome to Highlights, a show where we recap a reality competition show, usually a drag one, like it's sports, even though it's not. And this season we are covering All Star 7, the all-winners season of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I'm super excited about that, and boy is it anybody's game still. So let's get into it. Previously on Drag Race. Last week's episode was Fairytale Justice. It's the improv challenge, which is always exciting. I love it when they do improv because several of them usually cannot do it, which is always even more entertaining for me. They were split into two teams, so we skipped the mini challenge and find out that because Jada and Trinity won the challenge last week, they get to choose teams. Raja is picked last, though. I want to talk about that for a second, which seemed a little ageist to me.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Well, because there's no clear, at least for me, there's no clear these people are definitely in the front running and these people are definitely, except for the people who don't have stars yet.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone really does perform really well on each challenge. There isn't you're in the bottom two, like on a normal season. It's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, that's a really good team or that's a really bad team, because all of these people are really great at what they do. I am starting to see the people who are getting in their heads a little bit, Raja being one of them. I think she's having a hard time with her confidence. Because she hasn't gotten a star. She was chosen last. And it kind of reads on her face a little bit.
Yeah, and you could tell she was upset about being picked last, kind of. I will say, I feel like she's being overlooked in some of these because she's placed actually fairly high in the challenges.
I feel like Monet is struggling as well. And she won the first. She has a star, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's kind of faded into the background since then. And like I said last week, if we weren't doing the winner's edit, I would have shredded everything that she walked down the runway in.
So for the challenge, they're doing court cases that are fairy tale themed, which I think is genius, especially for an improv challenge. That's such an improv-y prompt. Team Jada is Jada, Jinx, Evie, and Monet as the three little pigs versus the big bad wolf. Team Trinity is the three bears versus Goldilocks with Trinity, Shay, Vivian, Raja, and then for some reason Evie again, which was weird. Anyways, but getting into the challenge itself, because we're talking prosthetics and I do want to dive right in. Team Jada goes first, and we lead with Jinx as spare rib versus Evie, and I was dead immediately. First of all, seamless prosthetics, looked amazing. She looked fantastic. Weirdly, probably one of the best looks I've seen her in all season. She just looked she looked so good. She was a hot little pig. I loved it.
And the mannerisms and the how she was talking and the pentameter of her voice and the tone and all of it. She embodied the character, and so did Evie. This team was on fire. I loved this episode.
Yeah, this was so good. I love this whole season. I find myself just rewatching these challenges over and over. It's so
They're
good.
all so good.
I made my partner rewatch Snatch Game, and he was like, "You literally watched this yesterday." I was like, "No. It does not matter.
That
We are
wasn't the
watching
question.
it again because you slept through it. You need to see this."
Clockwork Orange, his eyes open. So Jinx immediately Jinx is hard to top. When she came out first, I was like, I don't know how we follow this up. Jada did okay. She was Twiggly, I believe, or something. And she didn't do bad. I thought she was okay. Monet as Pamela Anderson was okay.
Fantastic name, fantastic character. It just kind of went meh.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't
it was
really.
like everything after her entrance really just kind of fell flat. Because her entrance
Yeah.
was great. Like she had presence, she came in with that attitude and that character, and then that was the last we really saw of that character for the rest of the challenge.
Yep. And I don't know if they put on their prosthetics themselves or what, but you're right. Hers was a struggle bus. Like it took me out of it immediately.
Instantly took me out of
Yeah.
it. Like, here's the thing. When Jinx walked in, I totally bought that she was a pig. Like, I didn't question a thing.
Yeah.
Jada walks in, totally. Again, didn't question a thing. Evie didn't question one tiny thing. Evie's character was so funny and so physical and so, like, she just embodied the whole thing and just gave it so much commitment. As an audience member, I was like, this team, I don't know how the second team's going to top this because I am in love.
I don't get how you do a character based on Pamela Anderson and don't do it as Pamela Anderson.
Right.
And also, strangely, have very small titties.
Yeah, and she's not even blonde. She doesn't do
Right.
any of that. And I just felt like she didn't conceptualize that character correctly, and it didn't really mesh well with the other two. Switching gears, so Team Trinity as Three Bears and Goldilocks. Shay is up first as Halle Berry, great name. Let me know if you agree, but I think Shay would have been in the bottom also.
Yeah, I think she had a hard time not really embodying that character, but making her funny.
Yeah.
Because I bought the whole like Mother Bear thing. It just really wasn't that funny, and especially compared to her teammates, she really had a hard time standing out for the right reasons.
True, but in other challenges, they have mentioned that you do need the straight man in order to have a funny scene. Like
yeah.
you do need that awkward, I don't know. I thought the look was cute. She wasn't my favorite of the group. I thought the Viv did great in this skit, like set of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like I said, the other group was so cute. It was my favorite. And the second skit just wasn't as cute for me. I just didn't buy it as much. It's not that they were bad. I just didn't like it as much.
Raja as grandma.
Grandma Hood.
Yeah, Grandma Hood, yes. I enjoyed. Not top two. I mean, it's hard to beat Jinx and the Vivian in this challenge. But I think if one of them had faltered, Raja might take that top spot. She was actually really good as this old lady. And she's kind of like leaning into the ageism, which I liked. And she really committed. She was funny. I bought that old lady, hook, line, and sinker. She moved like her. She did all kinds of old lady stuff. She was like, let me say hi to people in the camera. I thought it was great.
It was fantastic. Raja was like The Price is Right meets Judge Judy meets Judge Wapner meets Grandma Hood. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Trinity's character.
Which Teresa, I think was her name or something.
Yeah. I think she's found this really cool balance of not taking it so seriously, but also being professional. That you can really tell she's having fun with it, which puts the audience at ease, and I can just enjoy what she's bringing to the table. Because I thought she was hilarious.
Yeah, it's weird because it was like if I just listen to it, it's really just her Satan and her Leslie Jordan as a witch.
Yes, with a little bit of Cher.
Yeah. So she just kind of does this thing where she's just kind of Trinity. It's, I don't know, it's still funny somehow. It's weird. I really liked her. Viv, though, was just like unstoppable.
Yes.
The accents,
Hilarious.
the American accent, I was like, whoa. That was crazy. Just it was just genius. Some of the best improv I think we've ever seen on the show. The interview with Rue after in the hallway.
So People's Court.
Yeah, he was like this Harvey, like this Harvey character, and it took me a while to realize that I wasn't like making it up in a nightmare. But it was just so stupid but awesome. I was just happy to see him interacting with people in a challenge and looking ridiculous at all.
With flip-flops on, no less.
Yeah.
All the way down to the flip-flops.
Whoa. Like, what the hell was that going on? And the Vivian's like, I like your ears. And then Jinx's ear falls off, which I also really love so much.
She kept going with it.
She didn't break character, which was so smart. So smart. She was like, Jesus Christ. Oh, so good. Okay. So going to the main stage. Rue's look this week, I have to say, I was in love with.
She looked really good.
Yeah, this blue dress with that white wig. That was just so spectacular. Oh my God. Just absolutely scrumsh.
It was very, like, sometimes I feel like Rue doesn't bring as much, like, formal eleganza to her looks. And I feel like we got a whole lot of that this week, which was really cool to see.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody else looked great as well. Guest judge is Jeffrey Boyer Chapman. It's the first time he's returned to a guest judge spot, or a judge seat, I should say, since leaving Canada's Drag Race. I still feel the same about him. He's never been my favorite personally. If before and after Canada's Drag Race, I don't know what it is about him. It just bothers me either way. But you know, he seemed to be happy to be back in a judging seat, so good for him. Category on the runway. Spikes on the runway. That's the name of it. First up, we had Jada Essence Hall. Loved it.
Living.
She looked so good.
Breathtaking makeup. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was
The makeup really pulled it all together.
Yeah. Really loved it. It was just so good. Not a bad week for Jada, I will say. Jinx as a porcupine. What?
It was all right. It was original. I appreciated a little bit of copper coloring on the runway. It wasn't my favorite look of the week, but you know, she did it. It was nice.
But she did it. It occurred.
She showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. It wasn't my favorite look of the week. It probably wasn't my least favorite look of the week, but I don't know. It's very, spikes aside, it's very similar to the stuff that Jinx has brought us so far this season. So it's kind of like we're missing that variety that I think some of the other queens are really showing us on the runway.
Absolutely have to agree. It wasn't my least favorite, but it also wasn't my favorite. It was very Jinx. It was okay.
I really liked her wig. I liked the color combination of her wig. I really thought that was pretty. I thought she looked a lot like Ben de la Creme. And then she posted and mentioned that Bandela designed the look for her, which I was like, this makes sense. But you know, she looked all right. She looked okay. Monet Exchange. What did she wear? Hold on.
She wore that 2-suit combo with the
yes.
spikes on it with the same silhouette that we've seen before.
And then a mask that covered her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was a little
You didn't
disappointed in her look this week.
You did not live.
Just this week, Zach?
No, I've been disappointed by her before.
Okay, just checking. I mean,
But-
I really liked her spiky mohawk, and that was where it ended for me.
Yeah, like I didn't hate the look as a standalone look, but I think because we've seen this silhouette before now, it's kind of the same feedback I have for Jinx, is that it's okay, you're giving us the same thing when other girls are giving us a lot of versatility, and it shows. So while it's not a completely like drop dead ugly look, I mean it's very, very punk and very Monet, it's just not different enough for me to be like, oh, that's really cool, because I'm starting to see trends in her looks.
Interesting. I really liked it.
Go on.
I thought it was cool. I hated the shoes with it. I felt like the shoes were an afterthought, and it took me out of it. They had the bright yellow laces or something, which I was like, oh, it kind of comes out of nowhere. But the overall concept of the look and the way the spikes are laid out on there, I actually really liked. I loved her hair with it. I did think it was okay. You're right, it is very Monet.
I feel like the dress wore her. I liked the look. I just feel like the dress wore her. And I feel like this is happening
fair.
To a couple of people over, like, I feel like it happened in UK versus the world. And it is what it is. I liked the look. Like Zach said, it wasn't necessarily like, oh, show stopping. I didn't hate it, but yeah.
Yeah. Evie oddly came out as a scorpion or something. And I was mixed.
I wrote, "This is cool," on my notepad. But, and I don't know if this is fair to hold her against this, but I've now seen this type of thing on a couple different renditions of either Drag Race or on drag shows. So it's not so revolutionary to me anymore. And it's also not the best one of that rendition that I have seen. I thought she did actually look cool, and it's like the heels particularly were really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I imagine very painful. But because I've seen this praying mantis type thing before, and I had those to compare it to in my mind, it was kind of left me wanting a little bit. So it really wasn't my favorite, but she looked cool.
So she was a scorpion alien, apparently.
No.
But I got praying mantis. I got praying mantis vibes, super hard praying mantis vibes, until I saw the spiky thing coming over the top of her head. And for me, if she wanted to be a scorpion, it needed to be bigger.
Yeah. Trinity came out as a vampire with a stake through her. This was a no for me.
Really?
Yeah.
This was my second favorite look on Runway this week. I thought it was really cool and theatrical, but I'm just...
Second favorite?
Yeah, this was my second favorite. I really liked it.
Okay.
Zach has been removed from the show.
No, sorry.
Thank you so much for guessing this week, Zach. We'll maybe see you next week.
I thought it was really cool and theatrical and fun. But I could see why it might not be everyone's favorite. It's definitely a me thing.
I thought it was beautiful in a Boulet Brothers kind of bodysuit, sparkly. It was very Trinity in that her ass was out, and I appreciate that. I just didn't think it was very original. It was cute, but it wasn't like my favorite, like, oh my gosh. Right? Like the way that when Jada Essence Hall turned the corner, I was like, oh my gosh. Like I didn't even, like her outfit almost looked a little costumey, Jada's, but the
Yeah.
makeup elevated it so high that I didn't care so much. I don't know, but yeah, Trinity, it was just okay. I mean, it was sparkly. I liked it. It was cute. It was pretty.
Yeah, the steak looked a little costumey, kind of in the way like Lady Camden's giant arrow did.
Yeah, the arrow and the heart thing. I could see that.
And it took me out of it. Plus, we just saw Bosco do something similar to this. And I was like, okay. And then right before Bosco did it, Farida Kant on Drag Race Italia did it in almost the identical dress that Trinity is wearing and did it way better. That's fine, Zach. No, that's fine. You can like it. I don't want to make you feel attacked.
No, I'm fine. Like that's okay. I'm not. I don't feel any type of way about it. All y'all's opinions are valid. It's okay.
Yeah. So next we had next we had the Vivian, who came out in the spiky Catholic Catwoman catsuit thing. Thoughts?
Now, for this was unoriginal because we just saw Shay in a
wear
catsuit
one.
with a whip do the exact same thing on the same runway. It was pretty. It was cool. I didn't dislike it, but I was like, did you think about that before you wore this out there? Like, Shay just did this a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was cute. She gave it her own spin. I love
Yeah.
the heels on her boots. Oh my god.
So I have a hot take on it, which is, I think we just saw it. However, I feel like I liked this better than Shay's.
I would agree with that. I do think she delivered it better than Shay's, and it seemed like a more complete concept.
Moving right along, though, we had Raja, who came out as like this something. This like She-Ra, almost anime looking kind of thing. I was mixed on this. A lot of people really lived for this, which I was kind of surprised. I don't know how I felt about it.
So this one was my favorite on runway this
Oh,
week.
okay.
For a couple reasons. I think Raja's done a really good job of giving us something very different every week, and this was very different. It was definitely spiky. Like it checked the box, like no questions asked. And I thought she looked beautiful.
I guess I don't know if it's the way she moves in it or what. Like it seems like it would photograph well, but maybe just isn't on
There's
the stage
no silhouette.
well.
It was super boxy in the middle and there was no silhouette. And the bottom piece almost looked like it didn't go with the rest of it, even though it was beautiful. Like the colors were beautiful, but there was something really off about it. And I really didn't like it very much at all. And I love Raja. Love Raja.
Then we had Shay.
So I think Shay had like the right idea, and
Mhm.
conceptually it was really cool. And like she always paints gorgeous. Like, but the fact that like the spikes were falling over and like the execution was just so off.
No, for sure. It wasn't my favorite. It was just kind of okay. I mean, the garment didn't wear her, and I appreciate that
Mhm.
very, very much. But Shay has never been guilty of the garment wearing her. She always wears that garment, hands down.
That being said, it was my least favorite of the night. It's just, I didn't feel like it really hit the prompt. I was like, oh, she put her hair's a little spiky, I guess, and then she's got some spikes on this tail. Didn't really scream the prompt to me. She couldn't move in it, and that's how I feel about that. Okay, so moving up. People who placed high this week were Evie placed high, Raja placed high, but our top two are in fact the Vivian and Jinx Monsoon. Do you two agree?
Yeah, I think overall for challenges and for looks, they definitely like outshone everybody else.
Yeah.
For sure. This week's runway was just kind of like, as a whole, kind of for me, judges looks included. And I don't know if I'm just maybe having a blah week. I don't know. Definitely not trying to be a hater. I definitely think that Jinx and the Viv knocked that improv challenge out of the park.
That also means Vivian earns her first Legendary Legend star. Jinx was blocked, so she does not get a star, though she won the challenge. The lip sync song is Love Will Save the Day by Whitney Houston. They both had two very different approaches to it. I was kind of surprised, given the fact that they could change into lip sync looks, that Jinx changed into this dress to perform it.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I was thinking the same thing. What was that?
Yeah, I was very confused by that.
Didn't make a lot of sense.
No. Also, I wonder if we're going to address this. But Xylophone Gate, where they seem to team up against Jinx, and Jada hands Vivian a xylophone to play in the middle of the lip sync. She's like, "Here you go, girl." She's like so happy about it, and Jinx is like, "What?"
It's like, you bitch.
Yeah, I was like, "What is?" Did they offer Jinx a xylophone?
She just said, "No, thank you. I got this."
No, I was like,
I don't
"What is
need
happening?"
props.
Did she know there would be xylophones? I have so many questions. So the Vivian wins the lip sync. No surprise there. She wins $10,000. She's getting some good drag race money, considering she didn't get anything on UK.
Congratulations. First drag race money.
I know, good for her. And she gets the power to block. Although someone pointed out, and I thought this was actually quite genius, is that as long as you make it to the top two, even if you lose the lip sync for the legacy, you kind of get immunity because you get sent to the back of the stage. So Jinx is safe from being blocked, which I think is a big deal. And I would say that's, regardless of winning, that's probably all I would care about, is that I just can't be blocked from earning another star. So I think it's a really smart strategy. I think she's silently playing that game, personally. That's all she's worried about.
Who wouldn't? That's the smartest game to play.
Well, Monet's telling 7 people to join an alliance with her, so I don't know.
Exactly. Thank you.
Very different strategy.
Every single person.
Which doesn't make sense. Jinx is like, no, I'll just make it to the top 2 so that I just don't ever get blocked, and we'll be good. So I think that's a much smarter strategy, personally. Anyway, so Monet gets blocked. Do you agree with this choice?
Yes.
No. Go ahead, Zach.
Well, she's the only one besides Jada who has a star and hasn't been blocked yet.
Yeah.
And personally, as an audience member, I really think she just needed to be blocked to knock her down a peg or two. Because all this like alliance BS and the background conversations, like, it's very not the energy of the show so far, and it's kind of annoying. So I think she just needed to experience it and get it out of the system and out of the way. And she did not take it well, which was not very becoming of her either.
So I'm not saying that anything that you just said was wrong, Zach. Like, I totally agree. Somebody needed to knock her down a peg or two.
Let me provide some counterpoints.
I'm just saying that I don't see her as a bigger threat. Like, I see Jada Essence Hall as a bigger threat. I see Shea Coulee as a bigger threat. I see Raja as a bigger threat. There are people that aren't even being considered right now. And I realize I left some people off that list, but to see all these champions compete against each other, it's going to be small little differences. Like, every single week is your season finale. Don't mess around. And Monet's just been doing nothing but messing around. So I'm not threatened by her in any way if I am the Viv.
Yeah, but it depends on what next week's challenge will be. Like, if it's something that Monet really excels at, when she does excel, she really excels.
That's true.
just like she did for the remix. So if it's something that she's gonna like absolutely slay in, it may have been a good idea to block her.
True. My
How
thing
did-
is, I think she's less likely to do well compared to some of the other people, though. So yeah, when she does well, she does really well. But if it's a sewing challenge or an improv challenge or something like that, she's not going to do well.
Or any of the
And that's
challenges we've had
potentially
since
a
episode
wasted
one.
block. So
Yeah, I guess
right.
if I can't block Jinx, I'm blocking Trinity. I'm blocking Jada. I'm blocking Shay. One of those people. Okie doke. So, time for top tweets. Getting into the scoreboard, though. So, cash prize winnings. Jinx still has $12,500. Shay, $10,000. Jada also $10,000, and Vivian, after this episode, now has $11,500. She already had $1,500 in the bank from the mini challenge win with the wheel, so good for her. In terms of stats and challenge wins and legendary legend stars, the whole bit. Trinity and Jinx are in the top spots. They're performing the best out of the entire group. They both have 2 challenge wins under their belts, and each having only 1 legendary legend star, though, because they've each been blocked, though, for one of their challenge wins. Smart blocks, though, I would say. Otherwise, they would be destroying this group. Shay technically is in the 2nd spot. Everybody else, except for Raja and Evie, has 1 legendary legend star and 1 challenge win. However, Shay's placed high more times than the other people have in this group. Jada and Monet right behind her, along with the Vivian. Raja has placed high several times, but has no challenge wins and no stars. She's coming in that 4th spot. And Evie, oddly, coming in 5th. She's got no wins, no stars, and she's only placed high once, I believe. Otherwise, she's just kind of been very safe, very middle ground. Interesting. Jada, Monet, Vivian all tied for 3rd, though. So one of those people needs to pull ahead to really differentiate this group. But I definitely think, as of right now, Trinity and Jinx are the top 2. The next week's challenge is going to be a commencement speech for Drag U.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this is gonna go.
I feel like it's going to be part roast, part public speaking engagement.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like Jinx will do well. She does well all the time. Raja could maybe do well. I remember her doing fairly good during their stand-up challenge when she had the Carrie dress on and all that stuff. So I think she's going to come in from out of the radar maybe next week. But it's a very interesting challenge. It could go several different ways. Any new predictions that's come up for you guys as we're kind of rolling along?
Jinx, Trinity, and Raja.
Yeah, I said Jinx, Monet, Shay, and Trinity, I think.
I see Jinx, Jada, Raja, and the Viv.
I don't know. It's getting weird. None of us think Evie will be there. Okay.
Does Evie think Evie will be there?
It's not that I don't like her. I just, somebody in one of the confessionals, or maybe one of the judges, was like, Evie does Evie no matter what. And
That's
to
a
a
problem
certain
sometimes.
and to a certain extent, it is a problem sometimes. And sometimes Jinx is Jinx no matter what. But she has gotten way more comfortable with breaking out of the box and those kinds of things. I'm super excited for Shay. I just, I don't know. I was super excited to see Shay on this cast. And it's not that I think she's doing poorly. I just don't know if she's hungry enough.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you would like to see any of our past or ongoing coverage of All Star 7, you can check that out right here on the PG Media channel. Subscribe today so you don't miss out. You can also find social media information in the description below. Sometimes stuff is on there, sometimes it's not. Give it a follow if you want. And with that being said, as always,
Thank you for watching highlights.
And we'll see you next time.